Good afternoon, my friends. It's Monday, September 3rd, and our Mighty Mondays are back online. As I promised you a week ago, we're back. We're back live here on Mighty Mondays. So, a creative talks on leadership, 15 to 20 minutes Facebook Live. I'll try to do a little info to wait for you guys to join in. I do understand that this is quite an interesting day today. It's a Labor Day in the United States, so all my friends from the United States, happy Labor Day. Enjoy this holiday. In Europe, in a number of countries, in quite many countries, this is the first day of a new school year. So parents, happy first day of the school. I hope you really enjoy it. Again, so let me introduce myself. My name is Janis Janovskis, and I am a John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, and the coach. So I'm really glad that you're joining in for this live. Thank you. I see some people are really joining it. Right. The title of today's talk is What's the Secret of a Good Engine? And you may ask, why on earth I will be talking about an engine? So stay with me for a bit, and I won't talk much about the cars. I'll just slightly touch them. So perhaps you've heard it many times, or being asked, or being, watch this subject over the media, a question: what is the secret of a good car? The secret of a reliable car, typically, everyone kind of first assumes it is a good engine. So you're wondering why I'm talking about these cars and engines. Why on earth? So, a little bit, stay with me, and I'll get to the point. So back to our engine. You see, what is a good one? So if you search in Google, it returns actually 353 million searches in terms of various people have tried to define what is a source of a good engine. One of the parameters apparently is a torque. And what on earth is that? What's a torque? Some you may not understand what torque means. So obviously, this is not a mechanics lesson or a physics lesson. I'm not going to recite what the torque is. Basically, what it means, the higher the parameter is for the cars, the better or the quicker the car can accelerate in the low speeds. Are you with me? I hope you are. Thank you, Janek, for joining. Thank you for watching me and supporting me in this. Yes, the higher you have the torque, the quicker you can accelerate. So the car kind of moves in quicker. You see, leaders' best friend, and one of the best friends that they have, is the big momentum. It's where everything rolls. When they have a momentum, their lives do succeed. They can accelerate in low speeds, and they can get things really going due to the size of a torque. And why I use torque and why I use momentum, you see, in many languages, they both mean the same thing. So actually, a torque is the thing that it's the meaning, or the definition is used. In English, in other languages, you see some kind of a momentum in there. So that's a word that is being used there. That's why I'm combining them together. So, a big momentum is like a torque when you have a lot of it. So you get it rolling, you get it rolling, rolling. Then you can accelerate at any moment, at any time, and get to the fast speed pretty quick. Yeah. Over one of my recent seminars, I was asked, how can you get out of being stuck? Or the other person asked, how can you get your job done when you don't have an energy? You just feel you have this downgrading feeling, I would say, to be precisely, or you have this dull feeling that I don't have an energy, I don't want to do any work, I'm not inspired. So how on earth you can get going? And sometimes you can get low energy because life strikes you. There are various events, moments. Yes, I've seen my friends, being struck by life events, bereavement, divorces, separation from friends, crisis in businesses, in their work lives, crisis in their private lives. So many things that can strike your life. How can you get going out of that? I personally experienced the crisis of 2008, which was one of the biggest months for me in my life. I lost a great deal of money, and I also lost a reputation as a business and as a person itself. So it was pretty difficult for me to get going back again. So, as my mentor and big friend talks about it in his book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, he describes this thing as the law of the big mo. The leader's best friend. That's when they get things going. So how you can get from the point zero, from the ground, up to the moment that you finally receive a big mo, a big acceleration. Obviously, there are a number of secrets that great leaders do. And I do not mean great leaders by somebody who is achieved a lot in their lives in terms of business success or personal success. I don't mean that you have to be a CEO of an organization or a director of a department or owner of a large business or something like that. No, those are the people that understand how you can get out of the crisis, how you can get things going and use the advantage of the big mo towards your success. So for example, it could be even for you when you finish one part of your, for example, work life, and you move to a different part. It could be that you end up yourself being employed in a corporate world and you start your own business. In a way, you could call it a crisis because you start something new. You start from the ground zero and you want to get things going and rolling. So you need that big mo. So how you can achieve breakthrough? Obviously, there are a number of things that they do, and each of them has its own way of doing things. However, I have surveyed and discovered three main things that I've spotted great leaders really do to get things going, get the momentum starting. Thank you, other people. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Abiola, for joining me and watching me. I'm really pleased about that. So, let's go on those three things. So, first of all, they are aware of the big mo. They understand that their best body. They understand that they need to work towards that big breakthrough. That one big thing that will turn them around. So this is quite often, this is the thing that quite often deceives us. It's a kind of assumption of the modern world. You see big leaders talking in a big events and you assume that that's one thing that contributed to their life in a way how they get big. It was kind of overnight success. So there was one day, randomly, it dropped out of there and it dropped down here. Here is this invitation for event. So you prepare, 1 hour talk or 20-minute talk, and then here you go. Nobody on earth pays an attention of how people manage to get to that point. How many times they've prepared, how many times they've practiced their content, their talk. And you see that 20-minute script that they do prepare, it comes out of all of that massive pile of knowledge and that big library that they do hold sometimes in their minds. So they understand the big moment of the big moment. So they work towards it and they never give up. And they never give up. I remember myself when I had to when my big breakthrough that I assume was my first ever contract in the IT industry. Obviously, I came from the background of being employed in the construction business, and in 2008 it all went down. I was looking for some new environments, new field that I could explore and learn things and start a business there, or start to become an expert there. So that's how I came across the IT field, web development, and I submitted a large number, hundreds and hundreds of applications towards the projects, contracts, and jobs till I finally managed to get my first breakthrough, to get my first real contract on the paper. It took me a while of 9 months perseverance. And obviously, if one person would join me at the last stage of it, seeing that finally I get the content, they would say, okay, it just dropped off from heaven. It didn't. I had to work on that for 9 months. So it was a pretty big job. That's how I receive it. They understand the law of the big mall. So they work towards it. They work towards that one breakthrough moment. And number 2, before we get to that, let's remind us, the first one, understanding of the law of the big mo. And that is your that is your best buddy, your best friend, your best mate. Number 2, be aware on who you are. If I would ask yourself, or if I would ask myself, what I am good at, or to be correct in English, what am I good at? And I do not mean here a talent of being a good carpenter or possess a great deal in knitting or sewing. No. Who you are as a character. What defines you? Are you a great speaker? Are you a great negotiator? Are you great? Do you have strong nerves? So you're always calm in any situation? Or you're too emotional? What are the things that do really define you as a person? You see, my great granddad possessed an amazing characteristic called perseverance. In other words, never ever give up. My great granddad, so it's not my dad, not my granddad, my great granddad. It is a father of my grandmother, and then my grandmother was a mother of my father. So he fought on a Great War. For those who do not understand that definition, it is the First World War. And he became a famous, I'm not going to obviously dig into details on which side he fought, it doesn't really matter, but he was 3 times captured by an enemy forces, and all 3 times he escaped. He escaped from his captivity, and then he came back to Latvia. So through our country there is a river that runs through the middle. He managed to get on one bank of that river, on the western bank, and he managed to see his father 2 times on the eastern bank. The moment he saw his father, he was captured again and brought back really deep into an enemy territory and escaped again. Can you imagine that deal of, I wouldn't say suffering, but that deal of being downfalled by an enemy or being pushed down by an enemy 3 times? Somehow he managed to stay alive, because when you say 2 times, I think according to the laws of war, you may get shot. But it didn't happen to him, so 3 times he escaped, 3 times he was captured again. Eventually, on a 4th time, he managed to get his breakthrough. Escape away from an enemy territory and return and reunite with his soldier mates. That's his story. That's an explanation of perseverance. That's what describes him. So, great leaders are the people people that see a light in all crises, are aware on who they are. So which means that whatever happens to them, they can spend some time, and we'll get to the third point, that what they do, they can spend some time on themselves and evaluate themselves. So they are aware on who they are. Get back on the line and get back to business. That's what they do. They are aware on who they are. Thank you, Mike Coke. Thank you, Edgars, for joining and supporting me. Again, I'm seeing you who are joining. Thank you, guys, for that. So it was number 2. Be aware on who you are. Thank you, Andy, also for joining me in this Facebook Live. Yeah, they're aware on who they are. I think I'm repeating this 3rd time, but it's quite important. It's not about your talent, what you can do. Can you fix, I don't know, are you a good chef or a good cook, but who you are. What are your characteristics? What are the sorts or the ways of your character? And number 3, they always evaluate their experience. Again, John Maxwell asserts this beautiful, I think the best assertion of this particular experience question. He says that experience is not the best teacher. Evaluated experience is the best one. You need to evaluate what were the real causes of a particular crisis or why you got stuck. And when you evaluate them, you need to say, well, this is the thing that I did wrong, and promise yourself not to do it again. Do not repeat it again. That is the evaluated experience. You find out the cause of it. You say, when my business went down, obviously, as any normal and ordinary person, I blame two things: banks and government. That's what you do in a business, always try to blame somebody else. But then, when I took some time off, trying to evaluate what really happened, the problem was me. I couldn't really, at that time, during my first business venture, I couldn't really grasp on the understanding of this law of the big moment. So I managed to get things going, but I never really invested in that torque wheel, the one that could give me, acceleration at any moment, at any crisis. That was a big thing for me. Obviously, after that, I said, I have to invest in that. I have to put things in, have to become a better leader. That's evaluated experience. So, let's go one more time through all three of these. What great leaders do in order to get out of where they're stuck. First thing, they understand the law of the big mole, the advantage of it, and they are really aware of the fact that that's their best mate, their best buddy, their best friend. They are aware of who they are. In other words, there is a book which is called 15 Evaluative Laws of Growth, also written by John Maxwell, and he talks about a great deal on the fact of awareness, who you are, what you're capable of, where you're capable of that, what is the best way for you to grow. I suggest you do read that. And then the third thing, what they do is they evaluate their experience. They always think and look on the issues and the problems, what happened with them, and their behavior to try to understand what's the real cause behind the scenes. I hope you enjoyed it. It was, again, series on Mighty Mondays. Every Monday, a subject on the leadership. This Monday, we discussed what is a definition of a good engine. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you really loved this an allegory of an engine, how the engine can be related to a leader and the big mo. Thank you for watching. I wish you all the best. Have a very, very, very productive week ahead. And see you next Monday. It was once again Janis Janovskis, John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, and coach. Thank you for watching and listening. In case if you like this video, I would love to see your comments down below, or likes, or critiques. I love good and constructive critiques. Or if you don't want to do that in a comment line, you can send me a private message. Or if you want us to, if you want to talk about this more, please do also message me on the Facebook. Thank you. Bye, everyone.